What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie, and today we are continuing on in my fountain pen re-review mania here. And today we are going to be talking about the Pilot 823, or the Pilot Custom Heritage 823, as it is officially known. Here, I'm going to lift the camera up a little bit. I have it next to a Sailor Pro Gear, a Custom 74, and the TWSBI Diamond 580AL, just for a little bit of size comparison. I would say that this is a slightly larger pen, but by no means an oversized pen. It is certainly not, abnormally large. I would say I have decently large size hands for a female because I am almost 5'10", but there are definitely people who have significantly larger hands and significantly smaller hands than me. And this fits no problem. And of course, you can post it if you want to make it even longer. It is uncomfortable for me to do that because it does backweight it. But again, if you have really large hands or like to hold your pen further back, like on the body of the pen, then you may want to do so. But like I said yesterday, if you missed that video, I'm going to be re-reviewing a whole host of pens that I have. I have 39 pens, and I will be re-reviewing all of them. So we're going to go on a little bit of a Pilot blitz. Yesterday I did the Custom 74 fountain pen, which is one of my favorites, and the Custom 823 is by no means any less favorited by me. They are very similar looking, except obviously the 823 is physically larger, and of course they do have a different filling mechanism. This is a cartridge converter, and this is a vacuum fill, so the entire body is filled up with ink. This is the smoke version. I do also have the amber version. This one has a fine nib, and the amber version I have has a medium nib. I have done a full review of the amber as well as comparing the fine and the medium nib if you would like to check that out. But this is a traditional cigar-shaped pen, the typical ball clip here. Pretty tense, but works no problem. You get the nice Custom 823 band with their stars and Pilot made in Japan with two gold bands there. And then you have another gold band separating the knob at the end that actually operates the vacuum from the body of the pen. Twist to uncap, another gold ring to separate the body from the grip section. Threads are so shallow you barely even feel it, and then the actual grip section itself does have a little flare up here if you have a problem with your fingers slipping. I've never really been one to have that issue, but it is there. And then this is Pilot's number 15 size nib. So it is a proprietary sizing. I would say this is basically the same size-ish as a regular like number 6 size nib. Minute differences, I'm sure, but close enough. And it's a 14 karat gold nib. Like I said, it's a fine nib. Has the standard plastic feed here. And much like the 74, it is just friction fit into the grip section. So you can just pull it out and go and then clean it out, which is really nice. And then that way you can kind of just stick a syringe, an ink syringe, into the body here and like flush it out with just clean water, and it makes cleaning this pen a breeze, which is nice because typical vacuum fills are a bit of a pain. And nobody wants to spend more time cleaning the pen than they do writing with it. You know what I mean? But speaking of writing, let's get to it. So we've got the Quick Brown Fox jumps over the laziest dog in the world. So like I said, this is a 14 karat fine nib, and it is very fine. I wouldn't quite call it a Western extra fine, but probably close to it, like very close to it. And the ink is Pilot Iroshizuku. Wow, I cannot write through the camera here. How do I spell this? Tsukio. One of my favorite blue-black inks of all time. Sorry, I keep hitting the camera there. Like I said, this is a very fine nib, but you can squeak out some line variation if you have extraordinarily limited use of it, but really don't. just don't. You won't want to flex these tines, trust me. Because if you bust it, then no bueno. Reverse writing is definitely not an unpleasant experience, but pretty darn dry. And as far as like the regular flow goes, it's decently wet, especially for a fine nib, a Japanese fine at that. It's definitely no slouch when it comes to the flow. Now, I will say Pilot Iroshizuku is a very well-behaved ink, so this is a perfect pairing in my humble opinion. I've never had any issues with this nib or my Pilot Custom 74 or anything like that. They just write so incredibly well. There's never really any hard starts or skipping. Like any pen, if you leave it uncapped for a long time, you may get a hard start. But honestly, this nib is a dream. I love the fine. It is one of the finest fines that I have, and I absolutely love it. It is just a joy to write with. Same with the medium nib on the amber version, and the medium nib, to be said, on the Custom 74. I will say, since you're here, if you've tried the medium nib on the Custom 74 and you don't like that softness, like the shock absorber feel in your car, then you can get the medium nib without as much of that feel in the 823. For whatever reason, that is almost exclusive to the 74. On the 823, you don't get that nearly as much. Can you still squeak out some line variation if need be? Yes, but you don't have that same squishy feeling as you're writing. Almost like you're walking on moss, instead of like grass, that kind of thing. So this is one of the pens that I've had in my collection for like the longest, especially the amber. Do I still recommend it many, many years later? Absolutely. This is by no means an inexpensive fountain pen. The prices change all the time with everything that's going on these days, and every retailer does their own thing. But if you can swing it, I definitely recommend it. I feel like if you have it in your collection, you probably are going to hang on to it forever if you are anything like me. So yeah, I 10 out of 10 recommend you picking one up. And especially now, because the clear demonstrator is also available in North America. So now you have 3 different choices on the look of the pen, and many, many nib options as well, because the signature nib has started making its way, and some do carry the Falcon nib for this as well, although typically those do cost more because they're deemed specialty nibs, but that's your call. As far as the basic version of this pen, yeah, absolutely, I still recommend. I still adore it. It makes me so happy when I write with it. I will be slightly biased and by saying that Pilot itself is one of my favorite pen brands. They just provide all the right stuff in my mind. While there have been some Pilot pens I have not liked, that has certainly been the minority case for me. So yeah, absolutely, I recommend it. Let me know in the comments, though, if you would recommend it, why not, so that we can start a discussion going down there. And while you're there, you might as well hit the like and subscribe, because new videos come out every Monday and Friday and occasional Tuesday. And then if you want to help support me even further than watching these videos, do click on that link for my Patreon account. I do post over there fairly regularly now, with exclusive content, behind the scenes, that kind of good stuff. So either way, if you've watched to the end of the video, you are the reason I'm making these videos. And as always, I will see you next time. Bye.